Hey there, welcome to episode 39 of the Rugged Angel Cast. As always, I'm your host, Kahmeela, and I am happy that you have joined me. You might be listening to this on iTunes, or you might be listening to this on SoundCloud, or you might be listening to the super special musical edition on WMCK.FM. If you aren't, and you want to know how to get to that, then check us out on WMCK.FM. On Wednesdays are the new episodes from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then they repeat on Thursdays at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then again on Mondays at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. to help you get back into your work week. Hopefully you enjoy it. And if you have any suggestions for music for me to play, please let me know. You can tweet me at @the_RuggedAngel, or you can send me a note via my Facebook page, Rugged Angel Productions, or the website, RuggedAngel.com. There are some Pittsburgh happenings going on that you should know about, like the Rugged Angel Party. I've mentioned it a couple times before. Hopefully it is sinking in that you need to be there. This is going on in Lawrenceville at Spirit Lounge on March 23rd. It's from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's like an extended happy hour dance party. So it's just enough time for us old folks to get in there, get some, get the numbers in, the movement scale on your Fitbit or whatever it is, other, exercise challenge that you've got yourself on, because we are of the 40 plus or whatnot crowd, whichever way you fall into. I fall in the 40 plus, but it's $5. Music will be provided by DJ Kahmeela Shabazz, and we are going to be having a great time. The place will be filled with people who support women. We are there to celebrate women and past rugged angels who have appeared on my show. And I am super grateful for any and everybody who is spreading the word, as well as those who plan on being there to party with us. And I hope to see you out there. You can go to RuggedAngel.com to find out some more information. Also happening in Pittsburgh, Mix and Match is the 2016 Market Square public art installation by Dutch artist Allard Van Horn, and that opens this week. The artist is transforming Market Square into a giant interactive jukebox that visitors can operate. Van Horn has collaborated with 7 different community groups to record 8 musical tracks for this work. So stop by Market Square during the gallery crawl on March 18th to see the work and to meet the artist Allard Van Horn between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Installation will be there until April 30th. And there's also going to be an artist talk with Allard at Point Park University on March 19th. That's specifically at the George Rollin White Performance Center, University Center. That's 414 Wood Street in Pittsburgh. And that's happening from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's free, but we would really appreciate it if you would reserve. So reservations are encouraged. You can go to pittsburghartscouncil.org. This episode is with Sarah Jive, and she's a hustler, baby. Sarah's a woman of many talents and interests. Sometimes she finds that frustrating, but mostly she thinks it just keeps life interesting, and I agree. With Sarah Jive, you're covered, always. Sarah's got a lot going on, but we mostly just touch on her childhood and upbringing and just how she kind of got to where she is. There's a lot of interesting things that we talk about, from, just like being a self-starter to adoption, and on to Catholic school and all-girls schools, as well as, of course, the random questions. I have to ask the random questions, which bring some very interesting information to the forefront. So Sarah and I have already discussed that there's going to be a part 2, and she wants to talk a little bit more about some things that she's got happening more recently. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, just sit back and relax and try to get to know Sarah just a little bit better. I had a great time. I hope she had a great time. And I'm going to leave you with this little tidbit of advice. Do not allow evil into your heart. Why? Because it'll make a home there. You don't want that. Let's get to the show. Sarah Jive,
Yes.
welcome to the Rugged Angel podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I am so happy that you're here. How's your day going?
Overall, it was a winner.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a winner.
Did you work today?
I did work today, but work is usually pretty awesome.
Oh, that's good. That's a
Yeah.
plus. I know you work in one of the more funner establishments where you guys get
Yes.
manis and shit. And
Yeah, we had like little pups running around.
ah,
And yeah,
so lucky.
it's a dream.
Now we are just gonna talk about you for an
Okay.
hour. I hope you're ready. I hope you're prepped, ready to go.
I'm not prepped, but I am ready to go.
All right, let's do this. Did you grow up in Pittsburgh?
I did not.
Where are you from?
I'm
originally?
actually from Erie,
Oh, okay.
which I love.
Yes. What's it
Yes.
like in Erie? I don't think I've ever really been there.
Where do I start? Erie's small, but we have a beach.
That's nice.
Yes, and I don't know. There's just like a really nice vibe about it.
Mm.
And even like living here, I love the fact that I can get home in 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's almost like a little retreat at this point in life, you know. And like even growing up, stories that we have, even like, underage shenanigans and
Right.
such. Our stories are more like going down somebody's backyard to their private beach, like creeping down there at night, and then you get a bonfire going, and you're like on a private beach
So it's
drinking
like
natty ice.
a little more wholesome like high school shenanigans.
It's just, I don't know. It's a cool environment. It's really family oriented.
Mhm.
I will say, like upon graduating and such, the majority of my friends are married and kind of like situated in their home life, and 2+ kids.
Are they mostly back there?
Yeah. For the ones that do stay, it's
Mhm.
real easy to just kind of like adapt to that same sort of
Right. Just that mentality
unit,
that kind of,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's like my hometown, Toledo, is similar to that. It's like, if you're just down with us doing like a regular job or like, the family work
Yeah.
or whatever, and you just want to have a family, then it's totally fine for that.
Yeah, exactly. It's in terms of like things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what like first drew me here, was because it was like any night of the week you can get yourself into something,
Right.
whereas there that wasn't necessarily the case.
Right.
But you're also in a position where it's kind of like self-starter. If you want something to happen, you make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely think I kind of am still that way.
Did you do that a lot?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, I definitely remember even in high school doing house parties, but like full-on house parties with like a DJ,
a real
and,
like, DJ in a cover.
yes, like
Nice.
clearly my parents would be out of town, and they know this now, so it's not like I'm telling some tale. They would come home and find out and be like, "Really?" And I'm like, "You should be proud."
Right. I'm not going to be asking you anybody.
You are having the best house parties. You just don't know it.
You are a legend.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think it kind of gets you in that mentality, whether it's, just doing little jump offs like that, or even self-starting your own business, or just any old random idea that you may have.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, if you get behind it, you can really make it come to fruition.
Right.
And, yeah, I like that. I like that part about that place that's now instilled in me.
Is that something that your parents kind of instilled in you also? What do they do?
My parents are definitely very involved in the community and church.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were a church girl.
Yes.
Catholic or?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I was raised in Catholic school the whole way. The whole way. I'm talking about you will sit through Mass on Friday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And you will sing in the choir. And you will clean the church. And you will, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole shebang.
Yeah.
But
doing the pancake breakfasts.
oh yeah.
Breakfasts.
Oh yeah. Coffee and donuts on Sundays.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So my mom, she sings, and they're both lectors, so they read, and then my mom's Eucharistic minister.
Oh wow.
Look at all these random fun facts.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
Yeah. Random fun facts.
Never in a bajillion years would I have guessed that
Yes.
about your background.
Yes.
Are you an only child?
I am.
Really?
Yes, I'm an only child. I'm actually adopted.
Oh.
Another fun fact.
Yeah, were you a baby
Yeah.
adopted?
Yep.
Do you know anything about your adoptive
Yeah.
background? Oh,
Yeah.
well, would you like to share?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's strange too because I think that we live in a day and age where you're used to seeing those stories play out on like Maury
Right.
or some
Lifetime movie.
Yeah, so you get this idea in your head of what it's going to be like, or what it is for that person growing up, or how the process is going to go down when you actually do find them, or what that even entails starting the process, you
Right.
know. And I remember thinking, okay, I gotta wait till I'm 18. When I'm 18, then I'll talk to my parents first, let them know that I'm interested. Because, there's an air about it where you don't want to be disrespectful in any way,
I
so
get
you
that.
want to make sure that,
Everybody's cool with it. It's like yeah, there's still that little tinge of like, well, you kind of feel like they'll think, oh, aren't we good enough?
Exactly, exactly. And I think for a lot of people, too, that isn't as well received. Like my parents are very supportive. They were the whole entire
That's
way.
great.
Like I have an awesome family. And the weird thing about it is, and I don't even know if like I have all the details exactly right, but in my mind, this is how it plays down.
Okay.
So I tell my parents that I'm interested. I'm like 18, and in my mind, I'm thinking, starting said process. This will take a couple years.
Yeah.
It'll all come together or not based on what happens from here.
Right.
Literally, like 3 weeks later, they're like, "All right, so your mom is down here on 32nd Street, so
in your town."
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. And they're like, so if you want to meet her, then
that is so crazy.
That can happen. And so in your mind, you're just like, what? A million things go through your head because you're just thinking that you have all this time to process the thought and get yourself prepared. But so I had my mom and dad go and meet her first. Because it's very strange, right?
Yeah.
And it was important to me that they were always included in the process.
There's got to be like 1,000,001 emotions that just go through.
Right. And let me tell you. So, when I did go to meet her for the first time, I went alone. And I remember like driving up to her house, and she lived alone. She didn't have any kids, any other kids.
Are you just like crazy nervous?
Yes. But for all the reasons that I don't think people think about. So I remember pulling up, going down the driveway, and I remember her opening the door and seeing her for the first time, and none of the traditional questions that you think somebody would have are the things that I was thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was looking at her like, oh my God, I look like her.
Wow.
Or more importantly, I was inside of her.
Yeah.
I don't know how often people,
True.
look at their mom or something and be like, I was in there. That's weird.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think that thought ever crossed my mind with my mom.
Yeah. So that was really strange. And then also just we could be sisters. Like,
wow.
We look very much alike. And so it was bizarre to just literally have someone in front of you that looks exactly like you.
Man.
And that was just so weird to me.
That is, wow.
Yeah. And, then we ended up just, like, talking about things that we liked and what we were into. And those were all the things that I was most curious about, you know?
Did you have that a lot of common interests?
Yeah, a lot of commonalities. And it's the whole, like, nature versus nurture thing. But, my God, like, even laughing, like, we would laugh at something, look at each other, kind of creeped out. Like, oh, we laugh the same. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Or be someplace and be like, oh, are you guys sisters? It's just really, really bizarre, But that being said, it happened so quickly that all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh, my God, I just opened Pandora's box. Because behind that, then there's, like, like aunts and uncles and cousins.
Right.
And I remember going there for the first Christmas, like, oh, you can come here and, like, meet everybody. And that was even more of, like...
Wow.
It was just so mind-blowing because now there's a whole room of people that look the same.
Right.
And I was like, this is wild, this is so crazy. In a really awesome way,
Yeah.
And, it's just... it's a lot of emotion, and I think people in those situations usually feel very strongly one way or the other in terms of whether they feel like that's something they're for or against. And
Right.
so I'm just blessed that I had that many people that were supportive of me and my decision.
That's amazing.
And it ended up, I mean, I'm so, like, I really am blessed. Like, my family that I've lived with my entire life, my family, they're phenomenal. You know, they're absolutely phenomenal. And that's weird too, because like then it goes back to the whole nature nurture thing there too, because I know there's a lot of traits that I've picked up from them.
Right.
You know, so
Did you how old were you when you found out that you were adopted?
it's weird. Like I never remember like a big conversation going down. You know, it's strange. I the one of the most like prevalent moments I'm thinking of when I was younger was we had a school day where it was like you had to walk around and it was like celebrate your heritage day or something. I was like, what the hell? You know, this is so weird. But my family is very Italian, and it turns out like my mom is Sicilian, so it's kind of like,
okay,
you know,
so it worked out.
yeah. I'm, you know, and I felt. I mean, my family is all of our holidays are, you know, around homemades and spaghetti and wraps and brujol and meatballs and, you know, cookies and such. So I you know, I truly felt connected there anyway. So there's not too much of a separation there. But it's a weird thing to think about at a young age, you know, or like, oh, it's, you know, let's make your family tree day, you know, and like weird things that I don't know if people think about are like the little triggers for small kids, you know?
Yeah,
Kinda like,
I would imagine so. Things I don't know that much about too far extended my family, just because it's not a really close family.
yeah.
Like I always just kind of think my mom, my sister, that's my family.
Yeah.
Right there. And it's so, and like even, you know, that nature versus nurture, I didn't grow up with my dad in the household, and I didn't meet him until I was 12. And there was that like, you know, the similarity, like the things that I like a lot of the same things he does, like, you know, and so I was like, that's really weird, that's crazy, you know, things like that. So nature versus nurture has always fascinated me.
Right. Isn't it crazy?
So you still have a relationship with your mom, like your birth mom.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. We're cool as a fan. Yep.
That's super cool.
I know, it really is. I'm lucky.
When did you decide to come to Pittsburgh?
I came here in, I believe it was 2005, 2004, 2005, something like that. Wow. Cozumel days is when I really started coming down quite a bit. Cozumel and Shady Side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Oh man, I
it was
haven't
above,
thought about that place. Like
Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the beginning of my stint here.
So you were just coming here to party and then decided to move here?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, my friend Kayla was down here, and then we started doing events there, and it was fun. There's more going on here. Like obviously, you know, I had a regular job up there, and you know, everything was pretty routine, but I just wanted to shake it up a bit. So then I just came down and we did that for a while. That was a ton of fun. And that was my first like real introduction to Pittsburgh.
So I know event planning is one of your side hustles.
Yes.
And outside of the house parties that you would throw and stuff, like what was something that drew you to that?
You know what?
It just kind of happened. You just found yourself in it.
I mean, I really love my friends. I don't know if I mean, I don't know. It's really strange. That's a really strange question. I don't know what really spawned that. I love entertaining. Even from a family perspective, like my family, we're used to like big gatherings and, you know, just kind of like serving people in a way. I don't know if that's like the right connotation I'm trying to make, but
well, I get it because from what I've seen, not so much firsthand, but like big families, and especially with Italian descent, there's a lot of people there, and usually like everything turns into a giant event.
Yeah.
And it's all surrounded by food, and you know everybody's like helping out, getting in where they fit in, kind of way, and I totally see that. It's absolutely an event. You're like planning meals, you're helping everybody out, and
and I just think I really like creating a positive experience for people, or even just like memories. Like I love, I don't know. I've been doing it for so long, you know, because I'm speaking earlier about high school, but then even in college, like I had a group of friends in college, and we used to do parties. It was called like Off the Hook Entertainment or something.
Nice.
I remember having like T-shirts and stuff made. I think I still have a few as like sleep shirts.
Nice.
You know, but it's just always been something that I enjoyed. You know, like I like seeing people enjoy themselves and having a good time and making memories, or like new relationships, new friendships. You know, and just like having a part in that, I think is awesome. You know, obviously you can make it for a greater purpose at times, maybe like charity events or other things of that.
Right, but a lot of times, you know, sometimes just getting people out of their houses and having a good time can be for a purpose.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of times people just, you know, need that.
Yeah.
To just let loose and be crazy or dance it off or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that kind of circles back to what I was saying earlier, too, about the whole, like, if you want something, create it. You know, like, man, I'm sitting in the house, like, I'm trying to do something. I know exactly what I want to do. I know who I want to do it with. I want, you know, this type of music to be playing. Oh, wouldn't it be so much fun if we could just do this? And it's like, well, instead of sitting there bitching about it, you know, like, make it happen, you know? And it's like, I'm for damn sure that if you're feeling like that's something you might want to do, there's got to be other people that feel the same way, you know? And then from that, obviously, there's
you
like...
got a party?
Yeah.
You got an event?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Gannon University.
Where's that?
It's in Erie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What'd you study?
Downtown Erie. Oh, my gosh. What did I study? Oh, my goodness.
Everything.
Yeah, I was on the 5-year plan. I started in social work.
Oh, wow.
Man, and then I changed to like advertising. Then I was like adcom, and then like the school itself, like I really just wanted to go to school for fashion or art or something else. But my mom worked there.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, let's be a little bit more rational while making this decision, you know? So I ended up going, and I took all these off-the-wall oddball classes. I found myself spending the majority of my time in the theater department.
Okay.
Just because that's where the majority of the creative classes were. So I was taking, like, scenic painting, set design, costume and makeup.
Wow.
Like, a lot of creative writing classes. Doing like little plays and such. I ended up coming out with like a theater comm arts major and an ad comm minor.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like 6 credits away from a Spanish minor.
Oh, man.
But I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other random credits in there that don't really amount to anything. You know, I was just kind of, you know, create your own degree program. You know.
Well, so what did you want to do with any of that? Was already event planning in your sights, or did you have something else planned?
I didn't really look at it. I think just like from living in Erie, like I didn't really see an opportunity at that time to really make that be how I generated income or anything like that. And I worked at a call center whenever I was in college.
Yeah, I think everybody has worked at a call center at least once in college.
But man, I was good. I was good.
Really?
It was one of those salary versus commission.
Oh, I hated it.
And I feel like a good majority of people that lived in Erie at one point in their life worked there.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, you could be there for like a 4 or 5 hour shift, but if you were really doing things while you were there, it was like you were putting in a lot more time. So I really enjoyed that. And, you know, I stayed there throughout college and then a wee bit after. And then when I did eventually leave that job, it was to go down here and then start, you know, to do more of the event planning down here. But in college, to be honest, I think I was just trying to get out with something.
Right.
And, you know, find classes that would hold my interest long enough to just get through it. I remember when I came in, like when I first came into school there, I was like the historian of the honor society, and like my grades were right, and then I got extremely bored, and nothing really interested me. And then I remember like within like the next year, I was on academic probation.
Oh man.
Yeah, just because I was so bored. Like
Yeah.
I just nothing was really interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then I just ended up taking a whole bunch of random classes, and everybody's kind of like, "What the heck are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm just trying to enjoy this process as much as possible, you know." And yeah, that's how I ended up coming out with that clusterfuck of a degree.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Loca Buena.
Yeah.
What? Let's explain that a little bit.
Sure. So, my friend Kayla that I spoke about earlier when we were in our Cozumel days, we had the thoughts to kind of try to resuscitate a lot of the old ideas that we had. She was living here at the time, and we were trying to think of a new direction to take things, and obviously a name to do it under. And we wanted to kind of pay homage to Cozumel with the name, and then we're very different. Like, we're very, very close. She's like my sister. But she's very like, "Oh, I'm good. Like, if you talk to her, she's very chill. She's very, like, low-key. And then I'm just bouncing off the walls.
Yes.
And so we were a nice combination of,
yeah, like yin and yang.
Yeah. So we came up with, like, the idea of Crazy Good because not only did we feel like it represented us, it represented our past.
Okay.
Together. And then me personally, as you know now, I'm very indecisive. I like a whole lot of shit. And throughout my entire life, I've never liked being in a position where I had to define me, what I'm into, or like just be in a position where I feel pigeonholed. I remember even growing up playing sports. Like, I love sports, and being in a position where it's like, okay, I understand that you want to play ball, but you're good at swimming. You got to pick between the two because they fall in the same season. Like, I would hate that. Or people telling me, like, you can't, if you're going to be the whole jack of all trades, master of none, you're going to lose at life. And I'm like, man, my interests are just so vast, though. I just could never come to grips with the idea that I'd have to just pick one lane.
Right.
And so I felt that when we created that brand, it could just basically encompass whatever the hell we wanted it to from this point forward.
Girl, I feel you. That's and therein lies also the description of Rugged Angel production. It is an umbrella of everything that I find interesting.
But it's awesome because you never have to feel like you're in some little self-contained unit that has to be, Operation A. You can make it whatever you want it to be. And, obviously our interests change all the time. Right. So it's like you put all this work into one idea. And then if you all of a sudden are like, man, I'm really feeling passionate about this. Like, you don't want to have to revamp all the work that you just put in just because it doesn't fall under that umbrella anymore. Yeah. You just make a big ass umbrella from jump and you're good. Right. That's my thought.
So you guys, so you've got your event production, and I tooled around on the website a little bit today, and there's like blogs on, fashion and entertainment, and I also saw there's an Etsy store.
Yes. I did have a little bit of gear for a wee bit of time.
Yeah. I'm kind of pissed I never got a chance to get
I brought you a shirt. Yeah, I brought you a shirt. I thought about it when I was coming. I was like, you know what? Because I had just got the bins out the other day because people at work were starting to ask about it. And I'm like, I just kind of let it go by the wayside because I got interested in doing this interior design project. And, I still have a few items, but not enough to, really fully stock anything. You know what I mean? But just a few one-offs here and there. So it's about to be no pants season, so I brought you a nice oversized sleep shirt.
Yes. Love it.
It's always no pants season, but I got you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you.
But yeah, I love fashion.
You're always dressed very nicely
Thank you.
On point all the time.
I appreciate that. Sometimes I like a lot of strange and odd pairings, but
you make it work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I think the major key is the confidence that you put behind it. You're also a very confident woman, and
Thank you.
another reason why I totally admire you.
Appreciate it. You are too.
Oh, thank you.
You know that.
It comes in waves. So do you think you're going to start up again with
I mean,
some...
she's moving back.
Yeah?
And it's the kind of thing where it was nice before because if, I'm dabbling in, real life work or, vice versa, it's kind of like two hands.
Yeah.
Make that four hands,
Yes.
on the project, trying to keep it moving as opposed to, me and my scatterbrain. I think I go through periods of being like extremely all in, and then I get distracted or like see an opportunity to do something else. And I've always struggled with that, like I just kind of bounce around at times, like if I am passionate about something, it's getting done, like,
right.
And I love having deadlines or, just like, I don't know, something to just light a fire under me. And then I'll get really passionate about a certain project. And then after that, I'm like, all right, what's next? Let me just figure something else out.
Do you have a certain project right now that you're hyped about?
Right now, what I was most excited about was the completion of kind of like refurbing my apartment.
Awesome.
And I like project spaces. In addition to my regular 10 to 6 job, I still work just enough at Pier 1 to maintain my discount that I need for
amazing.
My own selfish
girl. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so I have a more than mild obsession with
like a 10-hour a week position.
Maybe less.
Just enough to get
maybe
the discount.
Less. But I love it. That's something that I've always been interested in. I love decorating. I love finding weird off the wall pieces and making it work. This space that I'm in right now is really small, but has a lot of character to it. And I just love getting in there and completely changing the game in terms of like a living space. Even for my friends and family too. Like I get very into those types of projects.
Right.
And so I just purged a ton of my personal possessions, which was phenomenal, and got to a place where I really felt like, man, this is really my little tree house. I'm feeling this. There's nothing else I need to do.
That's great.
Like you finally reach that point where you're like, everything is exactly the way I want it. But who knows? Now I either have to stay at peace or move.
Right.
Because now I'm getting the itch again. I'm like, okay, what's next? I think that's the transitional phase that I'm in right now. It's like, what's next?
Yeah.
Because I just completed that, and now I'm like, okay.
Now you gotta find the next thing to get your hands on.
Exactly.
Did I see that you were doing something at Golden Mark recently? I know you were guest bartending. I think there recently.
That was so fun.
What is that spot like? I haven't been there yet.
I love it there. They're doing a really nice job. It's super chill. Yeah, I like it because it's got that like dimly lit sort of ambiance. I hate going places when the lights are up. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's such an easy thing to have control over.
Right.
Yeah,
just bring it down dimmer, cut off a couple lights, lower watt bulbs, whatever.
Yeah, and they're doing it right in there. They really are. And they have great DJs every night of the week that I'm there. I'm just like, okay, it's a sure shot spot, You always want to, when you're just kind of like out and about, like, man, where could I go? I know exactly what I want. I know what I want to hear. I know the type of environment I want to be in. I feel like that's a sure shot spot. Right. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Shout outs to DJ Nugget and Nicole. They're doing a great job. And I had a great time guest bartending.
That's awesome. When do you think you figured out, I know you're still in motion, but when do you think you figured out who Sarah is?
Oh, damn. Man.
Have you reached there yet?
There's a lot of me. There's a lot of me's. There's a lot of me's, yeah. Right. And I think that another thing, growing up back home, we're very focused on athletics, whereas I don't think I've done one athletic thing since living in Pittsburgh. It's probably to my own fault because I'm not seeking it out. But to be raised in an environment where it's literally season to season.
Wow.
I was a 5-sport athlete, and I was
Lord.
very into it.
I'm so tired just hearing that.
I was very, very very focused, and it consumed a lot of my free time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's how I made most of my long-standing friendships. I mean, even if I wasn't playing on the same like basketball team as those girls, even if they were my opponents, like those are still my lifelong friends to this day. It's just this weird bond that you get from sports, I guess. I mean, obviously,
that
like
makes sense. You're all there working on a common goal.
Yeah.
I never played any sports like on a team or anything like that.
Oh,
So
man.
I don't really know what what that's like.
Oh, I miss it so much.
What was your favorite?
Basketball, hands down. And then I remember we would do cross country for conditioning, but then I ended up liking it. And then I swam competitively for many years.
God.
Yeah, like a long time.
I know there was like they were trying to do some volleyball thing around here in Pittsburgh.
Never
like,
played volleyball.
Yeah, I liked volleyball, but I wasn't trying to be the one to dive for a ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I know how to do it. I don't know if I would know.
I think it was like
what to do.
I think it was Julian that was trying to get something together.
That makes sense. That sounds about right.
I think it was happening like last summer or maybe the summer before that.
That sounds right. Totally. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be so cool to have like start some sort of like 3-on-3 tournament or something in the summer, but just like all old heads, you know what I mean?
You should absolutely do it.
You
want to make it happen, Sarah.
Yeah.
I am sure that you will find some people because I know Mavi, like she's an athlete and she loves that stuff, so she would probably be all over it.
Yeah, we could have like a cookout and then have a 3-on-3 tournament.
That would be great. I don't know if I've ever played a full basketball game ever in my life, but I would be down to
this summer. If anybody out there wants it, let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, just a bunch of old heads sitting there playing basketball, eating barbecue.
Right.
Best summer
ever.
It's gonna be great. Yes,
best summer ever.
It's gonna be awesome. But kickball, that's another one.
I lied. You got me. I did kickball. Either was it last year or the year before I played kickball, and ironically it was with a bunch of Erie people that now live here. But then when I went to the games, man, they were faded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, man. I mean, I love y'all, but I can't do this. Yeah, so I went for a few games, and yeah, I just can't keep up. Couldn't keep up.
What is the legacy that you would like to leave behind?
Man. I feel like my answer would change depending on like, wait, who exactly?
Who am I leaving this to?
Yeah. I mean, man, that's a really good question. Maybe just I feel like if I could coin a thought process or like a way of life, like the whole
like the Sarah Jive way.
Kind of like how we were talking
Keep
about the big ass umbrella.
Yeah.
Maybe like a big ass umbrella legacy.
Yeah.
Get with this program.
So what? You have like 1,000,001 ideas and interests that change at any point in time. You can put it all together.
You're covered.
Under what? Yeah, you're covered.
Oh my God. There it is.
There it is. Write it down. That's your next project.
I love it.
What haven't you done yet that you really want to do?
Oh my gosh, I really love to travel. So there's so many places that I want to go that I haven't even left the country. Oh no, I take that back.
You been to Canada?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, you can drink when you're 19 in Canada, and Erie is like skipping a jump.
Right. I lived in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
When I was like when I turned 19. So
yeah.
And Canada's the only other country I've been to. Also, like I haven't been anywhere else yet. So hopefully, knock on wood, I'll be able to do some of that soon.
Yeah, I would love that.
Where was the last place you traveled to?
Last place I traveled to, man, Texas, I think.
Yeah, what part?
San Antonio.
Never been there.
Was that my last trip? I'm like thinking through. Dang. Oh my.
Was it a while ago?
It was probably like 3 years ago. I
think.
Man.
Yeah. Sarah, you gotta go take a weekend trip somewhere.
I do. I mean, I go to Erie quite often, but that doesn't count.
No,
doesn't
you're
count.
gonna have to
good Lord, what am I doing?
You have to stretch it out somewhere. You have to
Yeah.
widen the parameter.
I go to New York. I take that back. I go to New York for Kayla and I do our birthday every year in New York City. So
that's
I do
awesome.
that, but that man, yeah. Ooh, that's the most recent.
Well, that was like October, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, do you have people in New York that you go see, or is there something special, like specific, that you always do when you get out there?
We usually just go out and try to dance, and I mean, we definitely have like friends that we've made over time out there, but for the most part, it ends up being like the two of us, and then maybe a few additional girlfriends, that come along. But
that's super cool.
Just kind of like bounce around. It's nice because we all like the same thing, so you don't feel like your plan can change. You can be very spontaneous, and everybody will stay supremely happy, which is key. Key during birthday season.
Yes, absolutely. I always like to think that a lot of times when traveling, like, no plans can be the best plans.
Yes.
So you just go there and figure it out along the way, because otherwise it's really not a vacation if you're trying to stick to an itinerary.
Yeah, you're right. I think the only plan that needs to be made is the actual plan to go somewhere.
Right. Exactly.
And that's where
where we're staying.
Yeah.
Well, how do you make sure you take care of yourself? How do you take care of Sarah?
Lately I've been really into sleep. When I was working like 3 jobs for a while and had like a wild ass schedule, and so I basically made my bedroom into some sort of a dungeon where it's just like black curtains no matter what time of day it is, because I was sleeping and getting the majority of my sleep during daylight hours.
Oh, wow.
So now that I'm working more of a consistent schedule, I just really try to make sure that I get a full 8 hours. And then I always tell the people I work with too, I think it's really important to always have what you need to be at your best readily available at all times. So very, very, very simple things, but just like maybe something really quick to eat, or like I always have a leave cold and sinus always in my bag.
Okay.
Or a 5-hour energy.
Yeah.
I always have a 5-hour energy. My coworker's like, are you okay? I'm not even human sometimes until I have
what are you
caffeine.
Talking about?
Yeah, but I'm really big on that. Just making sure whatever I need at any given moment is readily available to me.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a big difference too, because
like purse nuts in my bag have saved my ass many times.
Or like a granola bar.
Right.
Or like, yes, past self. Yes, I love you. Thank you for that.
Thanks for looking out for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, and it's so simple too. It's like the easiest practice to start, even when you're at the store and like just picking up something you need for that day. Even if you just get yourself something for the following day.
Right.
You're so psyched. You're like, yes, thank you. Thank you. And you really feel like you're talking to a person.
Right.
Future self and past self. Beautiful.
All right, Sarah. We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna ask you a bunch of random questions.
I'm good with that.
Did you? Well, we're back on the air. So, Sarah.
I'm just chopping it up.
Chopping it up. You went to an all-girls school.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was interesting. It was very interesting.
Did you find it easier to, I'm assuming easier to focus on schoolwork and whatnot?
Yeah. I mean, we were wild and stuff, but there was definitely no distraction of the male.
Right, you're not worried
by any.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, and I've talked to I have a couple other friends who went to all-girls schools, and they spoke about it like, for one, there's not that boy distraction there. You're not so worried about how you look when you go into class.
Lord, no.
For one. Two, there's also a feeling you don't have to feel like you have to hide your intelligence.
Yeah.
Which, to a certain extent, like I want to say that most of us don't do this, or that's not a trait that is in women is in young girls. But I mean, I guess to a certain extent, yeah, there's that certain point where it's like, oh no, I don't want to seem nerdy, or I don't want to be the smart girl because
yes.
Billy might blah blah blah. So is that the kind of same experience you had?
I could totally see that. Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed my high school experience.
Was it just high school? Was all girls or
Yeah,
all?
just high school. It was interesting. You definitely didn't really get all that ready.
Right.
We had a uniform that we would throw on, and we always had boxers on underneath, and we'd roll our skirts, and it was just like a white polo. It had like a little, emblem on it, and then we had like baby blue skirts. And then I remember the only thing that you really had to show your personality through was your shoes.
Really?
Yeah,
And which is why you're such a shoe lover.
Oh my God, I love
got
shoes.
sick kicks.
When I was in high school, I had red wallabies.
Oh my
Those
God.
are my favorite because there was a tiny little wee bit of red in my polo.
You're like, it's gonna make it pop.
Yes. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, your hair was just up at all times, and you just roll out of bed and go get it. And then normally, again, like most of us had practice right after school, so we're going right from school to, some sort of
Right.
athletic practice or whatever for some team.
Did you guys have like I don't want to say matching, but like a brother school?
Yeah, we did. Yep, we
for
did.
like dances and stuff or whatever.
Yes, yeah, we did. Yeah, totally.
What was the name of your school?
I went to Villa, and then the I guess the counterpart was prep.
Okay.
So, but I really enjoyed it. I did.
I
went to it was weird though, cause like me, where I stayed and like where I went to grade school was on one side of town, and so it was a no-brainer that when you graduated from that school, you would go to the high school on that side of town.
Gotcha.
But I ended up going to that school way over there, and I got like an academic scholarship, and it just ended up being like more feasible financially. So I would either like carpool or like bus.
Oh.
And to the other side of town.
How long was that trip?
I don't remember. Maybe like Erie's not that big. Maybe like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So not too bad.
That's not so bad.
Maybe less. I don't know. Probably seemed longer back then.
Right.
But it was nice because it was right on. Like my school was right on 8th Street, and then even for like cross country practice, we would run down to the beach. Like we would run the beach for practice.
Oh. Wow.
Like
that must have been really
like
nice though. Refreshing.
Awesome. Yeah.
And totally different from like everybody who did not have a beach to their disposal when they were in high school.
It was weird, but it was fun.
Man. Yeah, I went to Catholic school all throughout like kindergarten all the way through high school too.
Yeah.
Mine was co-ed though, my high school. And we didn't have a uniform, but we had to be in uniform. Like we couldn't wear jeans or sweats or tennis shoes. We had to wear collared shirts, had to be tucked in, or, dresses to a certain point, hosiery, blah, blah, blah. But
Fingertip test.
yeah, I think that was that thing. Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't care enough. So I would I never wore a dress in high school until like the last week of high school.
Yeah.
And it was always pants. And I think I had like 5 pairs of pants that I would just rotate through. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
The rotation was real in high school.
All right. So now some random questions
Okay.
for Sarah. What album can you listen to from beginning to end?
Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt.
Nice. What's your favorite color?
Black.
Are you usually late, early, or right on time?
Past self, late, present self. I'm early. I am early to the gate. I'm speaking it into existence. It has been that way since I started doing that.
Right?
So, yes,
that's what you got to do, man.
Early to the gate.
Like, seriously. Like,
Yes.
you got to speak it, like, all this negative energy. Don't do it.
Yes.
Do not give it to yourself. Favorite pizza topping?
Ooh, man. Oh, I love pizza. Man, it depends on the kind too.
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
just gonna say, if it's like a Sicilian
Right.
style pizza, I
Like-
really like sausage and roasted red peppers.
Okay.
And I do dip that pizza in ranch.
What is
I'm
what is
sorry.
what is a Sicilian style pizza?
It's like it's kind of like a thicker crust, and it's in a square.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really good. And they also sometimes, depending on where you get it from, and you can also buy this at the store, they have like a Sicilian pizza topping.
Oh, really?
And it's spicy, and it's usually made from like olives and peppers and a lot of oil. Banging. If you like spicy stuff.
I mean, I can take it to a certain extent. Like, how spicy are we talking?
I mean, I like
Like, clear out your sinuses.
yes,
spice.
that like level 10 or even level 10 spice is my life. Like,
oh my God.
Yes, I'm like, give it to me.
You
I
are
want
a
to cry.
boss.
I want to sweat. I want the wasabi burn when I there's something that I like about that. I don't really understand, but I believe it must have some sort of cleansing property that I'm maybe mildly addicted to. I
You're
don't
just
know.
detoxing yourself.
Yes, at all times.
Favorite word?
That's not my answer. I will say man, an actual word, huh? I don't know, 'cause there's like words I like the meaning of. There's words I like how they sound.
Well, give me one that you like how they sound.
Hmm.
Like, for example, Dan's favorite word because of sound is arugula.
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 That's a good one. I would say that like my it sounds so dumb and like boring, but I do like the concept of the word love.
Aw.
Not so much the sound.
Right.
Let's play it out.
Do you still own any cassette tapes?
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
Oh, man. Yes. Yes. I still have some of the ones that I taped the corners of so I could actually make them my own.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to make the covers. Like, I would, like, cut out ads in magazines and, like, tape them on
Yes.
there. Ah, that was an era.
Man, you know what? Just like I have this is
Yes.
funny. You'll appreciate this. But I remember we used to get me and all my cousins, we would get tapes at Christmas for like one of our Christmas gifts, but they would be like a religious tape or something like that. We were, like a story.
Right.
So we would all open our gifts, and we knew we were getting them every year. This is when we were little. So then once everything was over, we would go upstairs, and we would make our radio shows on the tapes.
Yes.
And what was the best is if you got a colored tape. Because then you could be like, ooh, I got the red hot edition. You get a red tape, it's over. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
I look over my cousin's like,
Okay,
a yellow one.
I'm balling.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What was your first job?
Foot Locker.
I worked at Foot Locker.
I love that job. Loved it.
Last book you read?
Last book I read, man, probably something for work.
Oh.
I mean, I tend to pick the 4 Agreements back up on occasion. I just keep that around.
Yeah, I'm reading that right now, actually.
Yeah.
One of the 3 that I'm reading right now.
Yeah, it's kind of good just to, like, leave laying somewhere in plain sight just to get your mind right.
Right.
So I know that I've read that recently. Revisited it anyways.
Gotcha. Your favorite song to sing?
To sing? Damn, these are good. I feel like usually if I'm just like singing something out of nowhere, I really like Chico DeBarge. That's so random.
That's so random.
That's so random.
I don't think I've heard anybody say Chico DeBarge in like 10, 20 years. Like, sure, L, maybe even Bunny, but Chico.
I know. You know what? And this is why. Because the car that I have, like, okay, so I don't have Sirius or anything. The car that I have still has like the old school, like the 6-disc changer.
Yes.
With all the CDs. That used to be the shit.
Right.
Like, I don't have to change my CD. This is awesome.
Like I could
But it's in there. It's in there. And so
no, Chico DeBarge is not in your 6 changer.
I swear to you, we could go to my car right now. I swear to you. And so it's kind of like one of those things that's fresh on my mind at times.
Right.
It's in rotation at some point of my week. So yeah. Weird and random. That is random.
Oh my God. Okay. Would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
I sure as hell would try.
Celebrity you would love to have dinner with?
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. Do you know any jokes?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I do like jokes.
What makes you bored?
Ooh. Lack of challenge, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite part of the human face and why?
Eyes. Pretty. They're unique. See stuff in them.
Yeah. Your favorite cartoon?
Ooh. I hope a buzzer doesn't go off. I need to think of it. Okay. I don't know that I have a favorite. I mean, I think about things that are really old, like Banana Man or Powdered Toast Man, or
from like Ren and Stimpy.
you know what? Yeah, like I think of specific characters.
Okay, that works.
Or
Powdered
like
Toast
Space
Man.
Ghost.
Nice.
Or like,
I feel like those off the wall ones.
yeah, remember Pendleton? Was he from Danger Mouse? Who was that little guy from? Was his name Pendleton? Do you remember
The
him?
little boy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Was
yeah.
it? What's
his
was
name?
That,
was he with Danger Mouse or no?
I think that was that Sherman?
Sherman?
With the
Who am
dog?
I thinking of? Who the hell is Pendleton? What did I say?
Pendleton? I
Is
think
that
that
what I
I
said?
think so.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sure there's probably.
I don't know.
Moving on.
Anywho.
Can you do any accents?
Yeah, sure. Hello. What we talking about today?
That's nice. Can you drive a stick?
You know what? I have my motorcycle license, so
Do you?
I would try.
You have a motorcycle license.
I do, but sans bike.
Do you remember your dreams?
Some.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Last movie you saw in the theater?
Ride along too.
Really? Somebody else said that like a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
episodes ago. Last movie. No, you just said. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Maybe to like time travel.
Interesting. Is there a particular time you would go back to or forward to?
None in particular.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Prince.
You never get tired of blank.
Dancing.
If I gave you a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Sicily.
Describe yourself in one word.
Multi-dimensional. Is that one word?
Yes, it's hyphenated.
Does my
Even-
prefix count?
And that, Sarah,
Oh my goodness.
is
that was a joy.
your show.
That was a joy.
Yes, I had a great time.
Thank
Hopefully, you enjoyed yourself.
I did.
And where can people find you on the social medias and your websites and stuff?
You can find me at Miss Loca Buena, like MSLOCABUENA. That'll be on Instagram, Twitter, and I think that's all there. And then on Facebook, Sarah Jive.
Word. Well, and always, you guys can find me on Twitter at @the_RuggedAngel, and you can check out RuggedAngel.com. iTunes and SoundCloud, we're under Rugged Angel Productions. Rugged Angel is one word. And remember, whatever you do, do it with passion or not at all. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.